So we've got a challenge here: $5 per person for any number of people to do an art you might not be playing, for books, movies, games, or music. Doesn't have to be good necessarily, just interesting and maybe lesser known.
Yeah, something lesser known that you might not be playing, or you might not be watching, or you might not be...
Yeah, so I feel like one each is probably
one each
a good way to go
here.
here. If anybody has something they want to suggest.
Wait, are we really the 18th?
Wow.
Are we the 18th game?
Oh crap.
Stealth 18 games and counting. Thank you for pointing that out, Alatriana.
Okay, neat.
Awesome.
Perfect.
So who wants to go first?
I'll start over here at this side of the room. So it can be a book, game...
book, games, movies, basically media form that you think is maybe underappreciated or lesser known, but is interesting and worth checking out.
Last couple of years, I've really gotten into music by Ben Frost.
That show was incredible.
Yeah, Andrew and I went to see him when he was live in Vancouver. Yeah. But he just put out a new album. I got my vinyl last week.
Oh, amazing!
For an album called "The Center Cannot Hold,"
which is that's a reference to the classic
Yeats poem.
Yeats poem, yes.
Yeah. So he's kind of like noise electronic music. It's discordant. It's
droney.
Yeah, it's droney.
It is very intense.
Yeah.
I listened to his album Aurora relatively quietly and enjoyed it. And I was like, oh, okay, like this is nice. It's good kind of chill background music.
Yeah.
And then I went to his show and discovered that his album is not intended to be experienced quietly.
No.
It is intended to be experienced at about 10,000 decibels. And it's incredible.
Yeah, it was literally the loudest experience of my life. I've never felt someone set up a standing wave in a concrete floor before with a guitar.
It might be. I feel like I've got a couple of moments that... Actually, no, wait. I have one very clear moment that's in competition.
Oh.
The last shuttle launch.
Yeah,
Man.
Speaking of waves in concrete, I love how they had to, the reason there's that huge plume of steam is because the launch pad is full of water.
Yeah.
Which acts as an energy sink, so that the sound waves don't actually liquefy concrete.
It's not the heat. It's the sound.
It's the sound. Oh,
wow.
Jeez. Wow. And even if you watch launches, even if you watch them with headphones on and the sound way up, doesn't compare. It is the sound of the sky tearing open, and it goes on.
The closest thing I've heard that compares was in Cape Canaveral, going to the IMAX and seeing a shuttle launch
in an IMAX. Oh yeah,
and that was that's pretty rumbly. But that's still only a reproduction by man-made speakers.
Yeah.
I've gone to 2 concerts where my hearing is actually just given out temporarily because it was so loud.
That sounds healthy.
It was not. They were very good concerts.
All right. So we've got Ben Frost as a musician.
You've got the last shuttle launch, because sadly that was very underappreciated for what it was.
I didn't intend for you to do that.
I'm not going to call you on that one.
You can't check it out anymore anyhow. It was the last one.
Any other pieces of music? Go ahead.
Because I can't get this album out of my head as much as I try to for the past 5 years, and it's not a parody album, and it's not a real rap album. It's, I guess you could say, a concept album by a guy named A1, who did an album called Saturday Morning Special, or maybe it's just Saturday Morning. But it's
I'm gonna write this down.
It's a bunch of theme songs, including some cartoons, the Golden Girls, The Price is Right, and the idea is that it's a kid who's stayed at home to watch TV because he's pretending to be sick. But he takes all of these themes and just remixes them and adds his own lyrics, so in rap style over top of it.
That's amazing.
I can't get this album out of my head.
Nice. I thought of one that's easily accessible to anybody because it's a webcomic. It is, in fact, my favorite webcomic right now, and I gush about it every chance I get. It is a comic called Band vs. Band by Kathleen Jacques out of Vancouver. Yeah, buddy. I see my buddy Ben giving me the thumbs up. It's so good. Corey. It is... I don't quite know how to describe it. It's somewhere halfway between the Archies, and there's a little bit of Scott Pilgrim in there, and there's a little bit of Josie and the Pussycats and everything. But if it was about and sort of an alternate about about queer culture and lesbians in bands and everything in this alternate universe where like everybody's kind of in a band. Yeah. And it is all done in this lovely pink and blue, like almost like rhizo color.
Oh wow.
And it is all hand lettered.
Wow.
It is an incredible looking comic, and I love this story so much. It's like my favorite thing in the world. But it's an amazing comic. You should check it out.
Neat.
Going back to music, you know what is highly underrated and has been for years? The rest of Middle of Nowhere by Hanson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you and Mia have both been on the like, hey everybody, like you may not be aware, but Hanson is actually really good.
Yeah, I don't know why Mbop was. I mean, it's cute, it's catchy, it's fun, whatever. Like, but the rest of the album was just totally ignored. I mean, now they're all grown up and they're all married with kids, which is just
Oh,
bonkers. But these were some incredibly talented dudes. Like looking at the liner notes, they each play like 7 different instruments. They all sing. It's just, considering that they were aged 10 to 17 when they made that album.
Yeah.
There's some pretty solid tracks on there.
That's amazing.
And it was woefully underappreciated.
We have something from their more recent album in the Random Dance Party, but there are multiple Hanson songs in the Random Dance Party because they have really good bouncy stuff.
Yeah.
Mia sent me a couple of years ago, and I was just like, "This is perfect."
Yeah. No, they're very talented.
Yeah,
I had 2 things. There's a game that whenever I'm bored and I want to just fill some time, I always come back to this game. It's been years. But it's called Dungeons of Dreadmore. It is a roguelike game where you just tootle around in a dungeon.
Did you do this to me on purpose?
I didn't know. Why, you gotta go home and start playing again?
No, I worked for Gaslamp Games. I was the release manager.
All right.
I worked on Dungeons of Dreadmore.
I didn't know that.
That's made by my friends Nicholas Vining and Chris Triolo was one of the artists on that. Christopher Whitman, who's a longtime friend of Desert Bus, worked on that game for a
I've
long
got
time.
about
That's how we
1,000
met.
hours on that game.
I met Chris Whitman via that, and then later discovered we were friends with all the Loading Ready Run people as well.
All right, so there's a game for you guys to check out. It's on Steam. It's real cheap,
Yeah.
and it's gonna suck as many hours out of you as you are willing to put into it.
Dungeons of Dreadmore rocks, but full disclosure, I
didn't know.
I did used to work for them.
And then I was going to say one other thing. A YouTube series that I started watching recently,
All right, real quick.
real quick, is The Hacksmith. Because if you want to just see what superhero powers would look like if an engineer actually built them,
Yeah.
that's what that channel is
Neat.
about.
It's not like unpopular, but I can't get it off of my phone. My phone always ends up having Mini Metro on it.
Oh,
Like I had it on my computer,
Mini Metro
and
is
I'm
so
like,
good.
this is great.
My-
Stressful and relaxing.
Because indie games, my friend Navi works on that game.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so simple too, but it's just like you could.
Disaster Piece did the music for it too.
I think you might be right,
Oh
actually.
Yeah.
wow, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mini Metro is super fun.
Yeah, Mini Metro is really good.
Alright.
I would.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. Did you want to throw one in?
Yeah, I got one. I'll come out here. It's going back to the music thing. It's an album by Clipping called Splendor and Misery. It's a Afrofuturistic concept sci-fi album
Yeah.
that's sort of like hip-hop noise stuff, and it's really, really good.
Yeah. And if you don't know, Clipping is the band that is primarily known for being fronted by Daveed Diggs, who you might know of Hamilton fame.
Oh,
okay.
you've heard of him.
Oh, yeah.
I've kind of bounced off with some of their other stuff, but this album is just
Can you
so
do me a favor?
good.
Can you send me a link to that via
Yeah.
Twitter or something
Yeah, I'll
afterwards?
send you.
Because I've bounced off Clipping before, but I really want to like it.
This album, and they also released another single this year that I'm blanking on the name of, but it's closer to Clipping than their other stuff, and
Okay.
I also really like that.
Cool.
But yeah,
Excellent.
Clipping
I
is
think-
super good.
I think we've also waited the requisite 10 minutes because we
Yeah.
need to wait
Yeah.
about 10 minutes afterwards.
We have.
So if we want to, Matt, I believe you had one that you wanted to share. Why don't you do that while Max cues that up?
Sounds good. So I've been just sort of puzzling this through, and I think I'm gonna limit mine to like the media that I have engaged with the most this year, which has been
Please,
movies,
yeah.
and then just the movies that I have seen this year. And there's one that stands out to me, I guess, which was Colossal, which I saw over the summer.
Yes.
Directed by Nacho Vigalondo.
Yes.
With Anne
Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway,
yes,
yeah.
no.
Which is like a really, really like interesting movie. I liked it. It takes the like actually probably worth throwing a content warning on it for
Yes.
abusive behavior,
Yeah.
Yeah.
abusive behavior.
Yeah.
Because it takes an unbelievably dark turn in the second act
That's
that just
yeah.
like shocked me. It's not violent, and it's not. There's no I don't think there.
Yeah,
Oh no, there
no
is
spoilers.
there is
Yeah.
one scene of violence.
I do really want to see this movie. The director is a longtime favorite of mine. He also did Time Crimes or Los Cronos Crimes. 'Cause, he originally got to start doing films in Spanish. I cannot remember what country he's actually from. But I originally saw a short film of his called 7:35 in the Morning. I think like 12 years ago at this point on my friend's computer, and we were just like, this was like pre-YouTube, like trading MOV files kind of thing.
Right.
And we were like, this is brilliant. Like, and then he went on to become a movie director, and every film of his I hear, it just gets better.
Yeah, and so like it's rate it like an 8 out of 10 in overall
Okay.
goodness.
Like,
But it was
underappreciated
enjoyable. But it was like the second act is pretty intense and intimidating, and then the third act is really cathartic in a really solid way. And the first act is just like really charming, and so that like the combination of like the like charming-ish setup into like this like deep pit of menace, followed by the catharsis at the end, makes her like a really intriguing film. And like the performances of everybody in it is great, and it's real kooky. Like the basic premise of Colossal is Anne Hathaway is a drunk, and she goes to a small town to try and escape her problems, and then she tends to pass out in a playground on the way home from the bar at night, and every time she passes out in the playground, a kaiju monster appears in South Korea and wreaks havoc on Seoul, basically. And it's the adventure of her coming to learn, that she is manifesting as this kaiju monster, and then what she does with it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's this like kooky movie. It was marketed like as this kooky indie film, and it's darker than that, but it's really good.